This is To the Bar. Strength in every story. And now for today's show.
Welcome to the bar. I'm your host, Jess Roebuck-Slaney.
And I'm Aaron Holt.
And today we are joined with co-founder of WODAPTIVE, Nigel Barber.
Hello.
Hello. So we've invited you in today really because we are a week?
Yeah.
Yeah, a week after British Weightlifting's first ever Adaptive Open. Hopefully, first of many.
Yep.
Yes.
And so, yeah, we sort of wanted to get you in to talk to you about it because from what we hear, you and Claire.
Yeah, so August last year, obviously Emily did her competition here.
Yep.
And as it's literally 5 minutes up the road from me, I was like, I might as well just do something fun for 20 minutes and then go home again. My PT works here anyway, who knows how I lift, how I do everything. So I said to him about it. He's like, yeah, fine, whatever, we'll sign you up. Emily was, to start with, she was like, I don't know what to do. And she said, literally, you need to have a conversation with Claire and Maggie. I had a conversation with Claire and Maggie, and they said, it was a lot easier than we thought. It's like, yeah, it's not hard.
Yeah.
Any adaptive comp, it's not hard to set up as long as you're prepared to be open and listen to
listen to the feedback.
Anybody will do.
Yeah.
So that's the first time we saw adaptive lifting was here. So we're at Winners 2000, and that was Emily Muskett's Lift Me Up comp, but it was joined with the British Open, wasn't it? So did you enter under the British Open or under Lift Me Up? Or?
I didn't enter under anything. I was given an invitational.
Oh, okay, nice.
So me and Abby, they just told us to just turn up and do the comp.
Yeah, nice.
And then we got a shiny gold medal at the end of it, which is great. So it's like, I mean, if that's all you've got to do these days, then that's fine.
That's a whole different discussion.
Yeah.
If all you've got to do is turn up and get a medal, it's a whole different discussion.
It's not a participation medal. We turned up. we did turn up. We lifted.
Yep.
Yeah, we spoke to Abby at the Adaptive, and anybody who hasn't seen that interview, I would highly recommend that. Yeah. It's only 4 minutes long, but yeah, she was.
It's Abby, and her mannerisms are very entertaining.
I could talk to her all day.
She just, had a go at me for being short for a lot of the conversation.
Yeah.
Which was great.
I saw her at the weekend actually, and I said, I'm doing this on Monday, and she's like, oh, say hello.
Bless her.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was really good. So obviously, you came, and BWL were obviously presumably saw that it was a lot easier than.
Yeah, I mean they were. I think they were taking a lot of their stuff from the powerlifting.
Yep.
Thinking, oh, it's going to be on the same lines of that, but in actual fact, it's a lot easier. Admittedly, I wasn't expecting to have Olympic level judges here to stare at us and go, yes, that's a good lift or not. But literally, when I was warming up, these 4 people appeared and they were like, we're your judges and we've got no idea what to do. So literally showed them my range of movement, and they all went away with, well, that was a lot easier than we thought.
Yeah.
Because for some reason in their head they got it that it was going to be really hard to judge. I said, no, once it's past this level, it's either a yes or a no.
Yeah.
And then that's determined on yourselves. You'll know if the lift goes up or not because you'll see it on my face. And if it doesn't, then you'll see the other face of me being annoyed. Which
no poker face then.
So this is where my advice to all lifters of just style it out goes out the window then, is it? Because I tell everybody just pretend.
If you haven't got a lifting face, there's no point in coming up.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did that. They saw us both lift. A lot of people, even in the crowd, were surprised at how Abby lifted when she went on first, and the fact that she was doing a one-arm snatch.
Yeah.
A lot of them were like, well, how the hell is she doing that when we struggle sometimes with double arm?
Yeah.
Just on a warm-up day.
Yeah.
And then I turned up, and there's people. I remember seeing eyes on me, going, "How's this going to work then?"
Yeah.
And they saw what I could do, and away we went.
Yeah.
And then obviously Claire and Maggie asked for feedback, gave them the feedback and said, so when are you doing a proper one?
Yeah.
The knowledge that I've got and that Craig's got of adaptive athletes, it's easy enough to sort of transfer it over and go, this is what you need, this is divisions. You can go from there and then just add in your BWL blurb that you need to add in.
Yeah.
I love the idea that you effectively entered the competition. Contacted Emily and said, "I want to enter," and it's sort of a shame in the way that they hadn't got that sort of thing in place anyway. But it's nice to have forced them into thinking, actually, why are we not catering for this?
I would admit I kind of forced the hand, but for what the event is and the fact that it is only 2 movements that a lot of para athletes can do, it's surprising it's taken this long to actually happen.
Yeah.
But now it's happened, and I think they had 17 on the day, and I've had people going, when's the next one?
Yeah. I mean, it was, I have to say, the vibe, everything about it was pretty incredible. I mean, it was, I don't really know how to describe it. What I loved about it was the camaraderie, and it did remind me of some of the original Masters events that I went to, where everybody was just mates and cheering everybody on, and I really, really liked that. And it did go, not that I was expecting it not to, but obviously it was the first time BWL have tried something like that. And even on the best of days at the British, when we're all prepared and good to go, things go wrong. And I thought it went really well.
Yeah. From running WODAPTIVE to doing that was easy.
Yeah.
WODAPTIVE's a lot more involved.
You've got so much more to do.
Yeah.
I mean, hence me not being a CrossFitter. There is so much more to do.
But CrossFit's fun.
I don't take away from the fact that it's fun. I just take away from the fact that my brain can't hold any more than the 2 movements, snatch, clean, jerk. So that's so much more.
See, now you've put yourself out there. You need to come and do an adaptive. Come and do our adaptive pairs comp.
To be fair, this is what Jay said to us, wasn't it? It was like, we pair with him. Yeah, just go and have fun.
Yeah,
just go and have fun.
See, what's stopping you?
But you're going to make me row, aren't you? I've heard your programming.
It depends who you're teamed up with. So if you're with a seated athlete, it's on ski ergs.
Okay, I'll do a ski erg. I do like a ski erg.
So if it's a seated athlete, it's a ski erg.
I prefer a ski erg. So pair me with a seated athlete and we're on. We're on.
What have you heard about my programming?
You told us about your program. You literally sat and told us that you program like a demon.
Well, you can't make it too easy.
No, there's that.
So I think it's probably a good idea now to talk about WODAPTIVE, your experience. I mean, how did you get into CrossFit anyway? I mean,
so CrossFit for me, I was training in a normal gym with my PT here at Winners, James, and I was just going through the motions of stuff. I just fancied something different to push me. He's done CrossFit. It'd been floating around. I previously had a clothing brand that I used to go to CrossFit boxes with. Seen it all there, and it's like, I'll give it a go. My first experience was I was told that I couldn't do it. So I was like, okay. So I started doing bits here at Winners. And then through Winners and doing other comps, came across Martin at CrossFit Pi, he's my coach. And from him, he pushed me towards doing more and more CrossFit. And I love it. I love doing the work. Doing a workout and doing EMOMs and stuff like that. All right, some of them are a bit disgusting, but I find the way that the movements go is a lot more tailored for me.
Yeah.
Than it is than just coming to the gym and doing 5 sets of this, 5 sets of that. I prefer everything all in one go, and you're actually pushing yourself a bit more to try and beat your time and everything else. And from that, my journey continued. I went to one of the first adaptive comps in the UK years ago, and it was bad. It was badly planned. I didn't even know what my workouts were going to be until 10 minutes before.
Oh.
So that was that. Just carried on doing CrossFit. Then obviously Adaptive Open first one ever. I was in the early stage discussions with CrossFit about the Adaptive Open, giving ideas.
Oh wow.
There was a little bit there of that. They kind of listened, they kind of didn't, because for them themselves, they didn't know how to do what way they wanted to go with it or anything. I tried it for a couple of years and I got a bit disheartened because it wasn't geared to me. It was still in the beginning process. So they were still learning, everybody else. And I was just doing local comps at CrossFit Pi with friends.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, if I enjoy doing it with friends, surely others will as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Obviously Ben, who I do it with, I've known Ben for years through the CrossFit scene. He's got the passion for doing and training adaptive power athletes and stuff. Craig I came across at an event at WIT.
Oh wow.
And we kind of came together and went, I turned around and said to him, I've got this idea. I can back it financially. I just need the help to
do it.
push it over the line to get it going. And they were both on board.
So is WODAPTIVE, is it a competition or is it like, because we were talking about this on the car, because obviously we're in Devon, so it's just had a good old drive, and we were trying to, because I was sort of saying I thought it was a competition, but actually having met you all, it feels more like a social scene, like a online club,
it is a competition, but it's more than that. It's become a community.
Exactly. Yeah, that's maybe the word I was looking for.
The competition aspect will always be there, but you'll always get the community side of things as well.
Yeah.
I mean, this weekend I was in London and I saw Natalie, and I saw Ben, and I saw Abby.
Yeah.
So you're outside of the competition setting,
but you've built the community.
But we've got the community as well. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I'm 95% of the comp is run by me. So it's me in the background sorting sponsors, sorting out the workouts, sorting all the paperwork, everything else. But I'm talking to the other athletes in the UK to just check up on them, see how they are, and it's not all about just a comp.
Yeah, it's more than that.
There's more to it, and that's what I wanted to create. Is you've got the community aspect, but you're also coming along to do the comp. Possibly for the bragging rights, possibly for the dark humour, whichever way you want to go with it. The dark humour is very much there, which I'm sure you might have come across some of it at the...
Love it, yeah, fits right in.
For a lot of people looking from the outside looking in at the dark humour, they can be a little bit like, okay, this is maybe a little bit above my level, but it's what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, when we were doing the clean and jerk phase, for the seated, we were all sat around the TV screen around the back. None of us were warming up because we were waiting to see what was going on.
Yeah.
And Paul, who came down from Scotland, he was like, I was having to tell them, go and warm up. Like, we were just ignoring him. But even Paul, he was like, the day before, I saw him the day before, he was like, what do I do if I say this? Say it.
Yeah.
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 If anybody's upset with you, they'll tell you about it.
Yeah.
Nobody is. It's we're there to. We're not there as a showcase. We're here to prove a point. We can do this.
Yeah.
We want to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let us do it.
Yeah. I think that ties in really nicely with me keep trying to drive people to listen to what Abby said, because there was something that she said that really resonated with me, and it was, we're not more impressive, we're not worse than, we're not less than, we're not better than, we're just the same, so just treat us the same.
Yeah.
And with the way she said it, I think it clicked with me, because I did watch her snatch and her clean and jerk and go, that is so impressive. And I think it's I think I can still say it is still impressive, because she was snatching more than I do sometimes struggle to snatch with both my arms, and I can't actually imagine finding balance when snatching a single arm. But then the way she described it was, well, that's how I've always done it.
Done it.
So for her, that is normal. So for her,
I mean,
absolutely.
to get a true understanding of a seated athlete trying to do clean and press, sit on a box.
Yeah.
Do it from your lap.
Yeah.
You're not engaging your legs at all.
Yeah.
It'll give you a bit of an understanding.
Yeah.
So that kind of ties into one of the questions I had. So obviously, British Weightlifting, they've done this first Adaptive Open. It went, as far as I'm concerned, really well. Everybody loved it. All the TOs loved it. The staff loved it. It's obviously a trajectory they're going to stick to. So that then opens a whole new world for me as a coach, as a TO, as somebody interested in weightlifting, to think, so how would I coach that? How would I coach? So when we were driving home, I was thinking to myself, if somebody like you came in and said, I want to weightlift, you've done it, so you know roughly what you're doing. I could help as a coach. I think I could help. Once you'd shown me what you could do and what your normal was, I think I could help. But if someone had never weightlifted before and they came in and they were a para athlete and they said, I want to do this, I'm not sure how I would approach that. So I need to try and figure out how, as a coach,
just do it.
Okay, that's an interesting answer. Okay,
You go back to the fundamentals of CrossFit. PVC pipe.
Yeah, so with the dowel.
Look at range of movement of what the person can do.
Yeah.
So, because it is just two movements,
Yeah.
you've got more focus on those two movements to see what works, what doesn't work,
Yeah.
what their range of motion is for a person, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You've got the option of training bars now as well.
Yeah.
So you're not having to do heavy load, so you can build up to how it works for them. Obviously, for me, I can lean forward, but I can't get myself back up.
Yeah.
So you'll see it on the videos that my PT was standing behind me
Yeah.
to sit me back up.
Yeah.
He's not giving me any momentum to lift.
Yeah.
All my lift is from my arms and shoulders,
Yeah.
which is why some look like they go up really easy and some don't. But that's come from years of practice of being with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we first started, I headbutted the barbell a few times.
Yeah.
Chinned myself, nosed myself. I think at one stage possibly hit him in the chin with a barbell.
Which is definitely making me feel like, yep, we are all actually, because I've done all those things.
Everybody's done it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's don't overthink it.
Don't overthink it is a takeaway.
Just
okay.
do it.
Yeah.
So start with the fundamentals of CrossFit. You've got the PVC pipe, you've got broom handle.
Yeah.
You can then just break down the movement
Yeah.
of, I mean, my coach Martin, he breaks down my snatch movement and just gives me, sometimes I just get programmed the high pull part.
Yep.
So I'll do that. So I'll probably have 4 or 5 high pulls and then a snatch.
Which is the same as what we would
Yeah.
do. Yeah. So it is just a case of us overthinking it in the sense of
a lot of coaches who don't come across para athletes overthink it when they get someone who does.
Because I would always start a beginner with a dowel.
Yeah,
A beginner
exactly.
weightlifter, you would start with a dowel to figure out can they overhead, like, because when I started I couldn't overhead squat in the snatch position with a dowel, and the mobility, like working on the mobility, has taken a long time. But so I would always start with a dowel and see what's the mobility like. So it's the same principle.
Same for an adaptive athlete.
Yeah.
Admittedly, yes, we're not all the same. You got various. I mean, neuromuscular is a minefield for what movements work, what don't. You've got some neuros that will have 2 arms at work, or you'll have one like Abby where one doesn't.
Yeah.
So it's fine tuning it to the person.
Yep.
But that comes over time of starting with the fundamentals and working up.
Which all weightlifting should be anyway. I mean, all weightlifting programming, from my perspective, should be fine-tuned to an individual. Like, you work on your own weaknesses and your own areas of development. I mean, I'm still now working on my overhead. Mobility probably will be until the day I die. So it's the exact same.
Yeah.
And I've just overthought it slightly.
Yeah, I think that one of the lessons there is not to be afraid and to just
crack
try
on.
it,
The fact that someone's come to your club, your CrossFit box, whatever, shows that 1, they want to do it, but 2, they've from somehow gotten the idea in their head that this is a place to come because they feel like that they could do it here.
Yeah.
Or if someone gets in touch, they've obviously gotten in touch. Yes, right, you might be the localist one to them, but they've still gotten in touch with you.
Yeah.
Because they want to do it.
Yeah. So work with
them, and nothing is. You don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
Which some people do, but that's possibly more from fear of themselves of, oh, what if this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, para athletes are just like, I just want to do it.
Yeah. And I think that's it. It's just stepping away necessarily from the, I don't want to say strictness, like, of the way we're taught when we do the BWL qualification is at particular points in the lift where the bar should be, where the pressure should be. So I think it's moving away from that sort of structured and being a little bit more like, do you know what? You want to weight lift? Right, let's figure out how we get you to weight lift then, and just going from there, which I would with a beginner. I wouldn't expect a beginner to be able to meet every point of performance perfectly. So it's just that little bit of extra step of being a bit more flexible.
So for me, for clean and press, I do it as a snatch grip.
Okay. Yeah.
Because me putting my arms in smaller means I don't get the functionality out of what I have got in my arms and shoulders.
Yeah.
But with a wider grip, I can throw the bar around quite happily.
Yeah.
So do you clean from the snatch grip, or do you
Yep.
you clean from the snatch grip as well?
Yeah.
Ooh. Ow.
But it works.
Yeah, but
Well,
your
this is
mobility must
adapting.
be.
So I've only got one head working in my triceps from my injury.
Yeah.
And my ability to get stuff overhead is very iffy. I mean, my 1RM snatch is 18.5k, and I was told that I'd never be able to get any weight above my head.
Yeah.
But again, it's come from 20 odd years of going to a gym.
Yeah.
Because I had, at the start of my accident and stuff, I had the dark days.
Yeah.
I did what most people would do and tried to commit suicide, but then I found fitness.
Yeah.
And my first PT was an ex-Marine.
I bet he wasn't going to.
He was evil.
Yeah. So he was not.
evil. He was evil.
Yeah.
But when I first met him, I couldn't lift a 1 kilogram dumbbell. By the time my time ended with him, because the gym shut, I was up to 6-7 kg dumbbells.
Yeah. I mean, that's powerful though, isn't it? To go from being in that dark of a place to 6 kilo, 7 kilo dumbbells overhead when you've been told you're never going to be able to do any of those things.
That, obviously over 20 odd years, I can snatch 18, well, my 1RM's 18.5k.
Yeah.
My 1RM cleans 30.
Yeah.
Randomly, I can sled pull 150k.
Bloody hell.
But I don't know how.
Just take it.
Yeah. I can't.
I mean, there's certain areas of my fitness, the numbers are low and some are high. But it's stuff I've built up to.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100 and 150k over a 1 meter area I can do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it just shows the power of sport for me, and so it makes me think. I'm glad. We might be a little bit behind, but also in the sense leading the way in one way for weightlifting. Yeah. Because I don't really see any other weightlifting federations doing that. So we might be behind CrossFit, but at least we're ahead in weightlifting, because if getting involved in the sport can help anybody get from that space.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, lifting for me, I mean, my go-to is cleans, because it just, I can zone out quite easily. Bang, 18k cleans out till the day the cows come home.
Yeah.
But it relaxes me. It's made me stronger.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first started CrossFit, I had curvature at the spine at the bottom, but that's purely because of being sat on my arse all the time.
Yeah.
That has straightened up from doing CrossFit and overhead movements.
Building the muscle.
And obviously from CrossFit doing cleans and clean and jerk and snatch, you're then linked with British Weightlifting and doing just the 2 movements.
Yeah.
Which 2 movements over a 20-minute period, it's fine, is a nicer way of doing it, of than a full day's worth of competing. But it's what you want to get out of it. I mean, Ben that was there, he said the vibe's totally different than from a comp, because normally there's tunes banging and then you haven't got that, and he's like, he said it's really affecting with my head.
I think it's an interesting one, because obviously the British Championships and the English Championships, we partner with Strength in Depth or FitFest, and so that's, you've got CrossFit, you've got British Rowing, and you do have music non-stop, and it is more like a CrossFit comp. The noise never ends, and for some weightlifters that's really thrown them off because they're used to silence. Now I hate that. It's one of the things that I don't like about getting on a platform in front of other people, is that it just all goes quiet, and I'm like, I would rather leave the music on.
There was a couple there on the day that they weren't sure about doing the comp. They turned up, but they weren't sure they were going to do it, and then they did, and they got PBs and stuff, so they were all happy. But a few of them were like, can't deal with the fact that it's silent. And I said, I get that, but you've also got to remember, you're not at a CrossFit sort of style event. It's you against you, pushing yourself on what weight you want to do. And admittedly, a few of the lifts were a bit iffy, but the judges gave them, so I don't know whether that was a case of they gave them purely out of, he's done it but not in a conventional way and we'll let it slide. But
I think it's probably learning for us as well, because
the
one thing I did like, even though we didn't TO, I really liked that they did do the briefings beforehand, so each athlete met with the 3 refs and like you said, demonstrated what their range of movement was, what their, what a good lift for them looks like. So I mean, honestly, there's iffy ones in every comp. I mean, we were at a comp yesterday and there were some iffy ones. I think that's why there's 3 refs usually, is because
but it also comes down to the person. If they think they can get away with it, then they'll try it.
Well, I always say style it out.
I mean, I know that one of mine on the weekend wasn't great. I still took it. And there was 2 that I failed miserably on, and I knew that I'd failed. I got it above my glasses, and at home I sometimes go, sod it, and I'll take that because it's up.
Training make.
At the event, I was like, nah, I can't take this as at the event, because it's kind of disrespecting myself.
I get that. I've definitely done that in the gym and been like, made a jerk for the first time, and I know I've pressed it, but to me it's a training make. I'm having it. It's in the gym. I'm training. If I was on a platform and I got the white lights, I probably would be a bit annoyed because I wouldn't have given it to myself. But I think it's learning. It's learning for us as TOs. Realistically, I think because it was the first time, I spoke to a couple of them afterwards and just asked, what was it like in terms of, for me, I would have been conscious about trying to retain the information. So I think there's something about the group size. So if you're going to have some of our groups can run to 12 people. I'm not sure about remembering exactly everyone's individual, but if we've got notes and stuff, and and the more we do it, the more regularly we see people, the more you get used to seeing people, the more you get used to knowing what a person's range of motion is. I mean, so it should improve the more BWL put these on, and the more integrated it becomes with the British Championships and things like that. Paul
was scared of giving good lifts and not, and I said, no, rep them. Treat us to the same standard. It's what we do at the WODAPTIVE comps. We say to our judges, if you think it's not good enough, tell them. No, rep them. And some of them you can see in their faces like, I don't want to be harsh. But it's like, no, hold us to the judging standards that we're telling you to.
I get that.
And
you'll
be fine.
I have definitely done it. I don't want to be harsh to able-bodied lifters as well, though. If they're gonna bomb, and I'm like, oh god, if I hit this red,
That's it.
they
comp
bomb.
over.
Please, please, please come out and make this lift, and it's questionable. I've definitely gone,
Sorry.
well, yeah, sorry, you've bombed. Or I've definitely gone,
Yeah.
err on the side of caution, because Eddie always says, if you're not 100% sure, err on the side of the lifter and give the white light. So that it happens everywhere.
I was chatting to Paul the day before, and he was saying, "Oh, I was red flagging teens and everything." And I was like, "So you're upsetting teenagers and making them cry?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Yes, yeah.
He says I was holding them to a standard.
Yeah.
And he was doing the same at the comp.
Yeah.
And I was sat behind him at one stage and went, "That was a bit harsh." And all you could hear is him just chuckling, purely because of what he'd said the day before.
Yeah.
But he came over to me and he said, "I'm so glad I wasn't judging your group." And I said, "Why is that?" He said, "Because of what you told me yesterday, or well, the day before the actual comp." He said, "I wouldn't have kept a straight face." And especially looking at watching me do mine, he said, "I would have just been laughing." And he said, "It's just not professional." And it's like, well, the camera's not pointed at you, so you're right. But yeah, he loved it. I know he did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Like I say, he was there at the back telling us to warm up, and we were all sat there just
watching each other, watching the screens,
watching the as we call them, wheelmen holding chairs. And some of the stances that some people were taking, just like, no. I mean, my doula here, my PT, he did one with Maddie where it looked like he was just in a squat. And we were all at the back going, "What's he doing?" But we then told him, "This is how you do it."
Yeah.
And then all the rest of the helpers and stuff that were there on the day, they kind of got it.
Yeah. I think that's it. Once, I mean, if people have turned up to help, then we've turned up because we want to know. So just tell us what it is that we need to do, and we'll do it. But all the TOs that we spoke to, I know some drama TO'd, and we spoke to Holly, and there were a couple of others. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Like, it was a really good.
Thing
It's
is,
just the vibe.
If they weren't knowing what to expect, and it's something completely new, and it's opening your eyes to it, you are going to be like, okay.
Yeah.
And then you got you've got Abby who comes out, or Sam who came out and was doing clean and jerk with one arm. You're like, okay, so he's got it up to there. How's he going to get it from there up?
Yeah.
And it's just the way that the body moves. People are like, fair play.
Yeah. And I think there's an element of naivety in the sense of it's not something I was saying this to Aaron, maybe not last year, the year before. I tried to watch the CrossFit Adaptive and the Masters stream, and it was from 400 million miles away, and you couldn't actually see anything. But that was the first time I'd ever tried to watch anything to do with the CrossFit Open, and that put me off. So I just don't have the exposure, really. There's a couple of para athletes that clean. I always forget the guy's name, and you'll remind me. So we see him at WIT.
Tyler,
who I follow. So I see him clean and jerk, but I just don't have the exposure to para athletes or adaptive athletes. So there was an element for me of watching and watching in that awe sense of I don't get to see this. So I can imagine if I was a ref, not knowing what to expect, and then also being a bit like, this is all completely new if you've not been exposed to it, having a very busy brain. Or at least I would have done.
So one of the things I said to Claire was, if you've got BWL people at these comps that want to know more about para athletes, come to a WODAPTIVE comp just to watch.
Yeah.
You'll get an understanding of how people
and
that's
where the crossover needs to come, I think, in terms of learning.
I've even said if there's any BWL people that want to judge, we put you with, normally the judges that we given 2 different people over the day.
Yeah.
But you're with them for all 3 workouts.
Okay. So then you get to learn.
So you get to learn specifically about them and how they move, and you can see it.
Yeah, see, that'd be cool.
And then on your downtime, when you're not judging, you're there, you can watch and you can see who's...
Yeah.
You see what it's like.
Who's doing what.
Yeah.
So
I was going to I mean, I think certainly from the technical official sort of perspective, there's, it's that learning, and there's no real need to have sort of separate pathways or qualifications. But certainly from the coaching side, I think BWL need to sort of really look and invest into that.
Yeah,
but I love the idea of TOs just turning up and saying, "Can I help?"
We're more than happy, even if they just want to volunteer for the day, be a wheelman.
Yeah, I think that's great.
So the wheelmen, the
people
that hold
behind,
the back,
which I saw, some of the sort of the coaching or teaching, teaching some of the volunteers there on the day how to do that. Because you're right, it's how they do it, it's different stances. And
if you want to come along in September just to watch, come along in September.
Yeah, I think you gave us a date, and I did put it in the diary because it was
7th of September at Cattle Dog CrossFit.
There we go.
There you go. Get yourself down.
February next year will be our biggest event, which, if you want to judge at that, we'll take you quite happily. You get a briefing the day before. Don't worry.
Okay, there we go. So we just need a briefing. Yeah. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it.
It's not a case of turning up and going, "Oh my God, what am I doing?" We'll give you a briefing the day before of what you'll come across.
Yeah.
What certain people will be able to do.
Yeah.
And you'll be then able to be like, okay, but you'll be able to meet the team that you're judging, go through what's on your clipboard of this is the weight they're doing, blah, blah, blah. You can ask them, what is your range of movement?
Yeah. I think it's great for us at British Weightlifting, really, because we've just spent quite a lot of time as a group of TOs in trying to, hone the skill. There was a lot of variation in the way people were judging, because being a TO is largely on a voluntary basis, in the sense of we do get some recompense, but it's not a massive amount, and obviously there's a lot of travel, and if it's a 2 or 3 day event, you've then got accommodation and stuff. So what it meant was you either ended up with a core group of TOs that were everywhere, or TOs that turned up when something was local, which meant that the reffing was quite variable. So we've put loads of effort in, all the TOs, I think, in terms of sharing knowledge and trying to get to a standard where we all ref at the same, or try to ref at that same standard of, okay, even if there's 3 of us and 2 of us have given no lift, most of the time you'll find the third one that gave the white lift go, what did I miss? So that we can try and get on that same level in terms of like the feet weren't in line, or it was a slight press out, or whatever.
If you want to judge in February, it's in London.
There we go.
Yeah. So we've sort of put so much time into being really strict that actually it'll do us good now to be a little bit more dynamic in terms of when we do adaptive opens. Actually, we have to be able to be flexible.
If we can pass on knowledge to other people, to make sports more, I don't want to say accessible, but more open.
Yeah.
So that we can just come along, do it.
Yeah.
Not have
It doesn't have to be a big thing.
It doesn't have to be a big thing.
Yeah.
There's no harm in TOs going, what is your range of movement? Because you will come across a lot of people that have various range of movement, even though their condition could be the same as the person next to them.
Yeah.
I mean, from my point of view, I'm not supposed to be able to get my arms above my head because of my injury, but I can.
Yeah.
Same as Rob that was competing, who's same sort of level of injury as me. He was of the same thing, and he was the only one I was trying to beat on the day. But but that's where you get your
strong lad, wasn't he?
Yeah, but that's where you get your little bit of competition from. It's right, he's in the same sort of area as myself.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm going to try and see if you can outdo him.
Yeah.
Sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. And a lot of the seated athletes, you'll get the same. It's like, can we outdo each other, sort of thing.
Yeah.
On the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, competitive aspect.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah. But a lot of the time, it's at the back. We're just literally go over here.
Yeah.
I mean, Jacob, who was there competing, he was in an hour and about his weight, and I said, well, you've got one lift to go when you clean and jerk. Why not go for a PB?
Yeah, just have fun.
Just try it and do it.
Yeah.
You've got your other 2. try for a PB. He'd put the extra kilo on and he got it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Definitely went away with the gold medal then. The PB's got the gold medals, didn't they? Yeah, good for him.
So it's just one of those. It's if you fail the lift, you fail the lift.
And I think that's the thing. The takeaway for me is if somebody turns up and they've entered the competition, they want to be in the competition. So it's absolutely okay if I was a TO for me to go and say, show me a range of motion, let me try and figure this out with you so that I can ref you correctly. Like, it's not being afraid to have the conversation and just say, what do you need from me?
Craig said it at our comps, WODAPTIVE comps before. He said, don't be scared of no repping.
Yeah.
They're not going to get we're not going to get upset.
Yeah.
Hold us to a standard. Don't.
Probably going to get more upset if we don't than
Because some of them will be like, that was a bit questionable, but I got away with it.
Yeah.
But just no rep them.
Yes, I think
that's what I do. I sit there on comp days, and I'm sort of rolling around, and I'm like, no rep.
So Aaron and I were talking about the other day. We were talking about making T-shirts with quotes from podcasts because we'd had a couple of people say some really cool things, and I reckon yours are going to be just no rep 'em.
Yeah. But
I like that.
I was at one of the judges' briefings before the Southampton comp that we did last year, and Alice, who was there, she was showing a movement, and I was sat behind her, just listening to what was going on, and I literally sat there and went, no rep, and she went, it so was, and then she saw it was me, and she was like, oh. But I do it on Instagram as well.
Yeah.
If certain people, you'll see their movements, and I'll drop them a DM and go, that was a no rep. People know it's just me being me.
Yeah.
Because I go and compete at other comps and stuff. I've got one this weekend at Hambo Foundation, and I know full well I'll get stick from people up there that they'll be coming over going, no rep. But it's what it is. It's one of those. I mean, there's for comps in the UK, there's not masses out there. I'm trying to change the narrative.
Definitely changing the narrative.
See what we can get out there.
Yeah,
see what extras we can add for next year. But the big one was getting British Weightlifting to do the Adaptive Open.
And I don't think that's the last. I don't want to even say that would be the last Open. Like I can see how this will fit in with the wider competitions. I can absolutely see how this would fit in with the British, how it would fit in with. I mean, one of my favourite things last year at the British was that we had the seniors, the senior weightlifters, the masters, and the powerlifters all warming up, all in the same space, all behind the scenes, and I loved that. I love that the masters are with the seniors, and some of the seniors are actually juniors that have qualified as seniors, and the fact that it's all inclusive. So you've got 17-year-olds looking at 81-year-olds. For me, at that point, was showing that the sport had longevity. So then when we also had the bench press, I mean, I was watching, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was bench pressing an amount that I could never even dream of getting off the ground, and it was so impressive, just because I've never seen a bar bend that way in a bench press before. But bringing us all together just makes it more like, British weightlifting isn't just weightlifting, one word. British weightlifting is powerlifting as well. And so actually we are all, and we should all be one together in that back room. And so I really loved that. And so I can absolutely see how in future the British champs, the English champs, why not? I mean, you've got CrossFit there, we've got Strength in Depth, you've got the British rowing, we've got the setup. I mean, I'm saying why not, and adding loads more. Maggie will be loving this. Adding all of this to Maggie's place.
I did mention it to Claire, and she said, I don't think it'd happen for this year, purely because we've got so much to get through.
Yeah, this year maybe not, but next year.
Yeah, I mean, if it gets to that level, great.
Yeah.
I don't see why it shouldn't.
No, me either.
Obviously, they might need to look at people's movements a bit differently and just say, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
But it can certainly get that far.
It just fits in nicely with the way Matt's taking British weightlifting, and the way we keep talking about it in every episode, but the way CrossFit and weightlifting come together as well, for me, it fits in well.
Yeah. I think so. That's obviously the vision. That's where we need to get to.
Yeah.
I think the other part to that is, just as you said, volunteers who come and do stuff. So it's our responsibility. We can't expect British Weightlifting to suddenly stick us all on a course or do something to sort of help progress our knowledge. It's turning up to
turning up to WODAPTIVE, and
I'm happy to work with Claire and say, put it out there to TOs and stuff. And
you would get the TOs go, I reckon.
Yeah,
absolutely. You definitely
come along.
would.
There's no entry fees. Just come along, watch what's going on.
Yeah,
it'll be something completely different than what you're used to.
Yep.
But you'll see para athletes moving in ways you probably couldn't see.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Ben who did the weightlifting. He was at Tyler's adaptive throwdown at Gymshark, and he's there on doing ring muscle ups and skills on his chair on the rings.
Yeah. So we spoke to him, didn't we? I think he was one of the guys.
Crowd surfer.
Yeah. He was one of the guys that was a little bit. I got a rep. I shouldn't have got a rep. But obviously, I mean, if you're strong enough to be doing ring muscles up in a wheelchair, then I'd be pretty pissed off if I was getting a rep for something that I knew was a no rep too. So, But I think people will bite your hand off at the idea of being able to come down and do this, especially the TOs, and especially the idea of either judging or joining a judge to get that exposure.
Yep. They're more than welcome.
I mean, a lot of us give up our time anyway, so it's because we want to. It's because we want to learn. We want to do better.
So the February comp, in theory, Claire will be there again for registrations for.
Yeah, tell her to fling it out to the TOs.
But I did say to her that she'd be able to possibly put on a demo. As well for whatever's around. But we're always open for judges and volunteers and stuff.
Yeah, down for that.
If they want to come along just to see how people move and what they'll come across.
Yeah.
For something that could be 4 months later.
Yeah.
Because a majority of the ones that do our WODAPTIVE comps would probably come and do the British weightlifting.
Yeah.
So you're seeing the same person in a different context.
And it builds the relationships as well. Yeah. That was another thing that Jay said to us about, it being like a second family, and like you all just support each other, and there's absolutely no reason why we can't all be like that in terms of supporting each other and getting to know each other, and it not being two separate things. So I really like
Jay on the day, I'm pretty sure he got a PB.
He did get a PB.
By the way, he got screaming.
He did. He did get PB.
But you've got people like Jay doing that, and you've got Maddie who she did our first ever WODAPTIVE comp at Gymshark.
Yeah.
And she was umming and ahhing about doing it, and she did that one. And she signed up for our one in September.
Yeah.
But that's what I've had. I've had people sign up for one comp, not quite sure knowing what to do, and then going, I'm already signed up for the next one.
Yeah.
And we're getting new people coming through. I mean, our September one, because it clashes with the games, we've got a few that have done ours for the last few comps that aren't coming because they've gone to the games.
Yeah.
But seeing where they were 2 years ago when we started our comps to where they are now, you can see the progress.
Yeah.
James Sutcliffe, he came to our comp, not really not rowing what it was all about, along with a lot of other people. He's qualified for the CrossFit Games this year.
Yeah.
And I've seen him progress over 2 years.
Yeah.
Sophie Wilson from the Hambo Foundation, I've seen her progress from 2 years. Nat Craig. There's athletes out there that have come to our comps at the start of something, and then 2 years later you see that they've qualified to go to the game. And it's nice to see that we've been part of that progress.
Yeah.
And even people that haven't qualified for the games, they come to the first comp, and you can see that they're lifting heavier.
Yeah.
And they're moving better.
Yeah.
And
they still walk away with that buzz,
Yeah.
right? And it's still the I want to come back.
yeah.
Or yeah.
Well, I don't know. It was debatable after February's comp with the thrusters and rowing. I think they were a little bit unhappy.
I'm pretty sure this is the one that you told us about, and I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, his programming sounds vital.
Yeah. There's more to come in September. But between me, Ben, and Craig, we all write a workout each,
Yeah.
and always give them. Right. I mean, September's there was one was Dillygaff, one was Bohesia, which is bent over. Here it comes again. Obviously, you got Dillygaff, which is does it look like a giver?
Yeah.
Right.
What's the other one? There was another one as well, but I just did it for the hilarity factor.
Yeah, just have fun with it. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, my one in September is called Endgame.
Nice.
Which is
I'm already
inviting.
checking
So-
out. Yeah, I'm already done.
But
Endgame.
we've got an extra workout in September to make it a little bit more fun,
Yeah.
and not really many people know about it. But if they listen to this,
Then
they will. We've got erg shoot coming. So you ski for a minute, and then your partner shoots. Has got 50 seconds to shoot 5 green targets.
Nice.
That's
Okay,
cool.
so that's really.
So it's just something a bit different.
yeah,
Yeah.
that makes me think the Olympics.
Yeah.
What's it? Pentathlon?
So the guys that do the erg shoot in the UK, they were recently at the French Throwdown.
Ah, right, with the Lujajum. They were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we've got them there for that.
Nice.
February comp, axe throw, maybe? You never know. Could throw it out there.
I have
Something
done.
different.
I've done an axe throw before. I can come to that one.
So there's a guy who trains at CrossFit Pi called Jamie, and he used to compete down at One and All, but I haven't seen him down there for a couple of years. But they had axe throwing. Jamie's blind.
That's something. Yeah.
Jamie got 3 bullseyes.
That's impressive.
I want to ask him how. Not how did he get the 3 balls out, but like how do you like? It goes back to what Abby said. Like that's just how I've always done
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So he's just
Same with
always
him.
done it blind. Okay.
Jamie doing box jumps blind and not smacking his shins. You're always watching it thinking he's going to do it, and he doesn't. He's just up and over the box, up and over the box.
Yeah. It just takes. It's
But it
gonna.
goes back to when you were talking to Claire about the blind athlete that snatches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
just do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. She did really well as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, all Jamie does is he feels the edge of the box, so he knows
Knows
where
the
it
He
is,
knows where it
Yeah.
is.
and that's it. Off he goes.
And so for the axe throw, presumably he can touch the target and then walk back, or
No, because it was in a metal cage. All you've
Nice.
got is somebody down the end just taps each side of the cage,
so he
so he knows where it is.
His echolocation, he part bat.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
That's incredible. Yeah,
Throws the
that's
axe.
incredible. Yeah,
bullseye.
that skill.
Yeah.
But there's people at that comp that were moaning that they weren't getting very good. They weren't doing very well.
It's like, excuse me.
Hang on. you can't really say much when Jamie's there who's blind doing what he's doing.
Yeah, yeah,
So
Love it.
yeah. I love it,
but-
and it is the takeaway, isn't it? It's people are there
Yeah.
because they want to challenge themselves. They want to compete. They want to train. If people turn up to a gym, regardless of who they are or what they can do, it's because they want to do something. They want to try, and so we should be supporting that however we can.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think
I mean, I know my job is done on the day when there's people on the floor.
Yeah.
If they're on the floor, you know you've pushed them hard enough. Even able-bodied, if they're on the
Yeah.
floor, you know you've pushed them hard enough.
yeah,
But that's why we get it right, because the programming for the adaptive and the able-bodied, obviously able-bodied is just RX all the time, but their adaptive partner is just always going to be, we'll push them to what they can do.
yeah, yeah,
And after the workout I gave them for the Gymshark comp, there was a few on the floor, but it shows that I'd pushed them enough.
Yeah.
And they'd done it.
Yeah. And I suppose the equivalent for us with the British weightlifting is when they PB'd.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
If we've created an environment where they feel confident enough, and you've got that, because you do get a little bit of extra adrenaline on that platform where things feel a little bit lighter than they actually are,
absolutely.
because of the environment and because it's a competition.
I mean, from what I can remember, there was at least 12 PBs that day.
Yeah. Which is incredible. And I think that does come down from primarily from the vibe that the athletes brought. I won't lie. I think the fact that they came down and they all were just... And the seating was filled, you know, the spectators was filled, there was people cheering people on. It was competitive, but not competitive to the point where competitors weren't cheering each other on. It was a really nice competition. And so that is the kind of place where you are going to you're going to push yourself, you're going to PB, because all your mates are there and yelling for you. Why wouldn't you?
Next time, go around the back when the seated athletes are around there, and then you'll just get all the dark humour.
I love the dark humour, is my favourite.
Us just sitting around the screen going, is he going to get it? Is he going to get it? And you're screaming at him from the back. But it's what Paul was saying. It's that we were having to tell them to go and warm up. And it's like, we didn't want to. We were watching what was going on.
Yeah. I personally love the dark humour. I think I was telling Abby about a guy that had left an offensive comment on a video of mine on Instagram onto the bar. Sometimes as a female, the men don't interact all that well, and she'd made a comment about sending them her way because she's got one really hench arm. I just loved it. I was like, do you know what? I'm betting on you. I'm betting on you over the guy on the sofa that's making a comment.
Beefy and Rexy, as she calls them.
Beefy and Rexy.
Yeah. So
she does have one really hench arm. Good.
But it is when the comp that I did with Abby in March, and she was there, she did 55 kg snatch.
Yeah.
And there's people watching, standing behind her, and I, because of the way I was sat, I could see them.
Yeah.
And they were all like, how?
Yeah.
But we also had Henry Dunn there, who's lost part of his arm. And he was doing toes to bar.
With one arm?
Yeah. So his other arm is through a loop on the thing, on the rig. But he's there doing toes to bar and banging them out. Wow. And you've got people watching him, but then he's doing bar muscle ups as well. With one arm. And you've got people in the crowd going, I can't even get one with two arms, let alone him doing it with one. I mean, there's people there and they were just like, how? Yeah. And fair play, but how?
Yeah.
You just don't think about it, you just do it.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's as Abby said, I asked the stupid question of how do you lift with one arm? How do you find that balance? Well, that's how I've always done it. I don't know how it feels like to lift with two. No. I'm like, okay, that's a good point. But you adapt, don't you? You work out how it works for you, and you go for it. Yeah.
And I suppose the only difference to that is if you were in the sport or in a sport and then got an injury, and then. But again, you relearn, don't you? So then that becomes how you've always done it since this particular point in time. So it's not it's still the same thing. It's still this is how I've always done it in this way. So
And any movements take out a certain aspect. So you could snatch with one arm.
I have tried. I've tried. I snatched the bar, and that was enough.
But you could try it from a seated position. Sit on a box and try seated snatch.
See, so this is when I got into my head. When I was just saying to you, like, how would I coach it? That's where I got into my head, because I was like, okay, so if I tried doing a clean seated, because obviously when we coach leg drive, even foot pressure, can't do any of that. But what about people who can't engage their core muscles as much? How exactly? Yeah. So tetraplegic, you're not able to engage your core muscles. So now I need to try and do it without doing that. And so it did give me an element of, there's a lot of variation here, but there's also, again, without trying to then fall into this we're not more impressive thing, I was then impressed of like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
But then that's not how I've always done it.
No.
But it is how you've always done it. So it's just acknowledging that it's the same, just different.
Yep.
But if you go away, try a snatch. Seated.
Yeah.
One arm barbell snatch is fine.
Yeah.
And then seated barbell snatch. Just sit on a box.
Do a snatch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And try not to use your legs in any form.
And that's the thing, isn't it? It's just really, because you use your quads for everything. From strength and literally everything. Tricep pull down is using his quads. But so...
But the one thing that you'll notice is how much weaker you think you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a go now.
What's your 1RM snatch, roughly?
62.
Yeah.
Doesn't, yeah.
When you do it with 15k barbell,
yeah,
you'll think it's heavier.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
And I think there you go. There's a lesson for all the TOs that are watching. You know, if you're intrigued, you want to know how to judge someone, or TO someone.
Yep.
Then try it.
Yeah.
You know, work out how you
clean and jerk,
give
it a go. Yeah.
Clean and press, clean and jerk, however you want to call it, and snatch from a seated position. You'll know how it moves.
Yeah.
Just sit on a box and do it.
Just try. Yeah.
Yes, all right, your back will engage, whereas majority is some people's don't.
Yeah.
A majority of seated athletes, their backs do engage, because there's not many tetraplegics that do weightlifting.
Yeah.
I mean, there's myself and there's Rob. I don't know of any others.
Yeah.
That I haven't come across any others in the UK yet.
Hopefully we will.
Yeah, hopefully you will. But at the moment, there's me and him. They're the only ones I kind of know. There's Kylie Grimes, she's just a beast anyway, from her wheelchair Paralympic days. And there's Taylor Goff, who I know, who's in the quad category, but he's got a bit more movement than I have.
Yeah.
So you're never going to get the same level of injury and same sort of movement.
But it gives you an idea.
Yeah.
As an able-bodied person, it would at least give me an idea of what it feels like and what to expect.
Yeah.
And also then it would give me an idea of, well, I know my back's just engaged, so now imagine if that couldn't happen. So just because I can't disengage it doesn't mean I can't then actively think about what it would be like.
You've got a week from
Thank
this.
you. Okay. Oh God. Here we go.
And you. Got a week.
I've been quiet.
You've got a week. Seated snatch.
Yeah.
Seated snatch.
You can get it will be on
Stick it
Instagram.
on.
I'll do a seated snatch. Yeah. Absolutely. On a box. It's done.
Yep. Deal.
Next option is monorope. Single arm skipping.
We're not going anywhere near any skipping ropes.
Yeah, I've got PTSD from skipping.
I thought you meant rope climb. I was like, I was down for that. For a second, I was like, one-armed rope climb? I reckon I could do that.
So you've got bar in front of you, and you skip.
How?
The best person to look up for that is Henry Dunn.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So it's one that you literally bars there, and you just literally skip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seated skipping's easy. It's just monorope. It's multi-rope, so you got one in each hand.
Yeah.
But you can do crossovers with multi-ropes.
I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah.
There is a woman I follow who is missing part of her arm, and she uses like an attachment for the bar for the cleaning.
Is it Lou Hawkins?
I can't remember her name, but she uses an attachment, and so the clean lands, relatively where the clean would land. But then for her to do the jerk, she obviously has to move her hand into the centre or a centre-ish of the bar, and that I think for me is the thing that I'm like.
Henry will clean and press with both arms, so you'll have the bar will be at an angle.
Okay.
So it's resting on the stump part of his arm.
Yeah. I think so. The woman that I follow, she's either just below or just above the elbow, so she can't clean and press.
Yeah.
But she does jerk, but she jerks enough and then sort of moves her arm over. That's incredible. Just the coordination for me as an able-bodied
you'll
person.
see a lot come from the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
Of different movements of how people do it.
Yeah.
A lot from the UK athletes on how they move and stuff.
Yeah.
That you'll be looking at thinking, how have you done that?
Yeah.
But yeah, give it a go.
Yeah, I kind of want to get to the point where I don't. Like, I kind of want to get to the point where we're sort of that integrated that it's like, yeah, that's how.
I mean, if you do seated snatch, the next stage from that is doing it in an actual chair.
I'd give it a go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the seated box.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm definitely gonna try the box snatch.
Come down in February. I'll bring a spare chair.
Okay,
There you go.
there we are. Done. Deal. I'll sit in the chair. Give it a go.
Yeah.
And then you'll be going, how the hell do you move? Because the amount of, even my carers, they get to sit in my chair and they're like, I feel like I'm going to tip out. But then stick in a barbell.
Yeah.
But yeah, you there you go. You do the seat snatch. You could be the wheelman.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Deal.
Yeah.
I'm
If she
down
lands
for
on
it.
you, I'm not taking any liability.
No, there's no liability here. It's all good.
And then what you do
I
is,
need
He's
insurance.
fine.
then what you do is you swap.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Well, I'll go first because I know I'm going to get twatted with the bar because I've seen you snatch normally.
Hey. My snatch is fine.
But yeah, it's. I mean, if they're there at FitFest, the Hambo Foundation, they had a stand there last year, and they were just showcasing adaptive equipment and how people do stuff.
Okay, well, we could maybe go and look at, because that's the December usually is FitFest, isn't it? So that would be the English for us.
If you're in Loughborough this weekend, that's when their showdown's on. Their comp.
No, I'm not in Loughborough this weekend. However, I will be at FitFest in December, so definitely we'll go and check out their store if they're there. Yeah. But yeah, so hopefully we get to a point where we're all on the same platforms at the British, and that's my sort of, having been to the Open and having met everybody there and seen what everybody was capable of, I don't see why.
I mean, the fact they had 17 sign up for their first one.
Yeah. And it went so well. And the staff, they put a lot of work into it, but it ran so smoothly.
Yeah.
There's a few.
There's always going to be learning.
I said a few things to Maggie about what it needed, tweaks for seated athletes.
Yeah.
But she's taken that on board, and the next one, hopefully, it'll.
Yeah, there's always going to be learning, isn't there? And I think accessibility was one of them. Even when you think places are accessible,
It was accessible. The only thing I was disappointed about was I was promised a bacon butty, and there was nobody there selling bacon butty.
Yeah. Well, Sam here.
Yeah, there you go, Sam.
There you go. And
Next
the
time.
last time we turned up, there were samosas. The whole works.
Yeah,
so
no.
Nothing. But great venue. We won't diss him too much. But,
Yeah.
No.
Great venue. We love Sam.
Great venue.
Next
Yeah,
time,
listen.
bring me a samosa.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Bacon butty.
And a bacon butty.
Come on all that way, I want a bacon butty.
So we are definitely going to see you at the next one then. The next time BW will put one on. Yeah,
Awesome.
beautiful.
Well, as we're here as well at Winners, so Lift Me Up.
Yes.
You signed up for that one as well?
Yep, 2nd of August.
Excellent.
Great.
2nd of August.
So that's when we'll see you next.
Myself and Maddie will be here.
So you can
Brilliant.
give me feedback then, because I'll put my video of my seated snatch on my Instagram, and in August
we'll just
you'll be
get
DMing me saying no rep already.
We'll get you doing it on the day.
Absolutely fine. Yeah. We're coming down as to the bar.
It'd be a good one for Emily to do. Emily, there you go.
we go.
But yeah, there we are then. That's the plan.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm on it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
And for all the effort, actually. For all the effort that you put into working with British Weightlifting to get us to this point, because actually, it's not. I don't want to say shameful, but we shouldn't have to rely on you guys pushing us to do these things. It should be things that we're actively seeking out. But I'm really glad that we did get the push.
A lot of it comes from not knowing where to start.
Yeah.
But if someone reaches out with a starting point, you can then start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm glad that you shoved yourself into Emily's comp and said, actually, yeah, accommodate me. I can do it, so why not? And then from there, it's grown into something that was so positive and so much fun. And all I
There's
saw...
more to come.
Well,
all I saw
I was
was
going to
smiles.
say, not only that, but with WODAPTIVE, what you're doing with the
Yeah,
community.
there's a lot more to come. Next year is going to be an interesting year for WODAPTIVE.
All right, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And, yeah,
It's been good.
we'll see you in a month. When
Yeah.
I do my... Well, I'm going to do some beforehand. But
Yeah, you're
at
practicing.
Lift Me Up. And, yeah, we'll see you there.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
No
very
worries.
much.
There you go.
Done.
Cool.
Lovely.
You've been listening to the Bar, Strength in Every Story. Thanks so much for listening. We're so happy to have you as a member of our community. We have a passion for weightlifting, but we also have an insatiable curiosity about everyone's story. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on Instagram at _2_the bar. And be sure to hit the website at 2-thebar.com. See you next time on To The Bar. And remember, there's strength in every story.